So, don't know if any one of you have already been to see The Sound of Freedom, but my friends and I just walked out. Hi. And we are curious what your experiences were in the movie theater, because we pre-ordered our tickets, paid for them, they were claimed, got the link sent, and this is an AMC theater in Pineville, North Carolina. Some point today, the tickets got refunded to my friend and we couldn't figure out why. So we come anyways to the theater after dinner and they're like, oh, well, we refunded all the tickets because there's no air conditioning in our theaters. Okay, whatever, we don't care. Are you still showing it? Yeah, you can still watch it. So we get to thinking, why did they not send out a notice in the email saying, hey, we refunded your tickets because there's no air conditioning? And we just are curious why didn't they let us know? There was no one in that theater. There was us four and four other people, 8 people in the theater on a Friday night. There was air conditioning in the lobby. There was air conditioning in the hallways. There was air conditioning in the bathrooms, not the theaters. They don't have the bartender or anything in the theater. I smell something stinky, and I think it's shit.
Alright guys, so we gotta talk about this movie called The Sound of Freedom, which has the mainstream liberal media upset, okay? But before I talk about why they're upset, I want to tell you about the premise of the movie, because if I tell you about the premise of the movie, you're going to start asking a whole lot of questions about why would CNN be upset about this, okay? Apparently, this movie, The Sound of Freedom, is about a child trafficking ring in Colombia, and it's supposed to be based off a real-life story about an operation to save these victims. And I think it's a fascinating movie. It's a more original movie, right? Hollywood doesn't produce a lot of original movies. I actually think that this movie wasn't necessarily produced by Hollywood. I think it's like a small budget movie, like an indie film or something like that. But anyways, this movie is doing very well at the box office, right? And I want to read about how well it's doing at the box office. Then we're going to get into CNN's meltdown over this, because again, the media, for whatever reason, doesn't like a movie that is exposing child trafficking. Okay, apparently they think it's a part of some big conspiracy, and it's just pretty fascinating to see the mainstream liberal media push back so hard against a movie that you would think would be a good thing, right? It'd be a good thing to bring awareness to this topic, but apparently not. So let's read here. Action movie Sound of Freedom has defied expectations at the box office and beaten Harrison Ford's Swan Song Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The movie centers around the real-life story of the founder of the anti-sex trafficking charity Operation Underground Railroad, Tim Ballard. It's seen as a surprise that this relatively small-scale movie outperformed what is seen as the summer blockbuster Indiana Jones and on the 4th of July, a date that in the past has been dominated by the likes of Jaws, Forrest Gump, and Top Gun Maverick. The feat of Sound of Freedom beating Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is even more impressive when you consider the numbers behind each movie's release. The first movie, not to be written by George Lucas or directed by Steven Spielberg, the fifth Indiana Jones had a reported budget of up to $295 million according to Deadline, if not more, according to other sources cited. Sound of Freedom, co-written and directed by Alejandro Monteverde, cost $14.5 million to make, according to the Wall Street Journal. By today's standards, this is a pittance compared to the massive budgets assigned to your regular summer blockbusters that are often north of $100 million. The movie box office website, Box Office Mojo, confirmed that The Sound of Freedom outperformed Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny on Tuesday, July 4th, while the fifth Indiana Jones movie made $11 million $698,989. Sound of Freedom made almost its entire budget back, $14,242,063. Animated movies Elemental and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse were behind these films, taking in over $2 million each. Yeah, so this movie, Sound of Freedom, made all this money back basically in one go. Okay, it's going to be a hit. Okay, they're going to make a whole lot of money off of it, as they should. And honestly, there are going to be a lot more people that go and see this movie because of the meltdown from the media, like me, right? I'm probably definitely going to see this movie now because of reactions like this from CNN. Take a look.
And you seem pretty familiar with him because he doesn't really hide his association with this real wild plot that involves, drinking the blood of children and things like that.
No, he doesn't hide it at all. And you have a lot of people who are in this world of QAnon who say, oh, they don't know what that is. They've never heard of it. They're just asking questions. With somebody like Jim Caviezel, he is openly embracing it. He's openly using its catchphrases and its concepts. He's speaking at QAnon conventions. And this film is being marketed to either specific QAnon believers or to people who believe all of the same tenets as QAnon, but claim they don't know what it is.
And The Sound of Freedom does focus on a real issue of sex trafficking. But that theme, it's sort of like that kernel of truth that feeds the QAnon conspiracy theory. Tell us how those two things work together.
Sure. And the most durable and the most believable conspiracy theories are not entirely false. There's something in them that is true and the rest of it is false. But the believers point to the one true thing and they say, oh, you don't believe that this particular thing is true. In terms of child trafficking, we know trafficking is real. We know it has real victims. No one is denying that. But these films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim Caviezel, and by extension, only people like the ticket buyer can help bring these trafficking rings down. So there's a very participatory element. You're not just going to see a movie, you're just killing 2 hours on a hot day. You are helping bring down these pedophile rings and save children. Now, it's not true, but it's a very comforting and it's a very warm feeling to have.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Now, if you look at the reviews for Sound of Freedom, it has a 76 tomato meter from, I guess, regular reviewers or whatever, like people that actually review movies. And then it has an audience score of 99%. Okay, so the audience loves it, right? The audience loves it. Again, I'm not sure exactly what the meltdown is supposed to be here, okay? I'm not sure why CNN is so upset about this, okay? Because I'm starting to have questions about CNN. Like, what are you for? Are you against people exposing child trafficking, right? Are you against that, right? Because they're making a big deal because they think that, well, this promotes a conspiracy that I know nothing about, by the way, right? A conspiracy that the mainstream liberal media keep trying to push on people that are conservative. That, again, I'm conservative and I don't know anything about what they're talking about, right? Which, again, it's funny how that works. I'm just looking at this movie from the standpoint of, okay, well, they're exposing a problem, an issue that I think is a real issue, right? In which CNN admits it's a real issue. Child trafficking is a real issue. And for whatever reason, they're upset and they're mad because people are learning more about the issue, right? They're mad because people are learning more about the issue. So it's like, okay, so CNN, you don't want people to learn about it? You support child trafficking, right? Because I'm starting to think that CNN does, right? If you are basically criticizing the movie for the premise of the movie, okay, you're making a big deal out of the fact that they're highlighting this problem. That to me seems that you may be, for child trafficking, right? You may actually be against the premise of the movie. To me, it's just so funny, right? It's hilarious. These people, they don't even want movies made about things that they say is in support of right-wing conspiracies, regardless of whether or not it's true, right? Like, you actually do have this problem of child trafficking. It's a problem that, we should address as society. You make a movie that addresses that and brings awareness to that, and the liberal media melts down because, well, we think that it supports some right-wing conspiracy. okay, or people that we see as associated with the right-wing movement, or some conspiracy, well, they're making money, right? They are, benefiting from it, right? I mean, it's really silly. It really is. And meltdowns like that is why more people are probably going to end up seeing the movie, and the movie is going to be a hit, okay? It's going to make a whole lot of money, right? Like it already has. I mean, it's already broke even, near everything, smooth sailing, it's profit. It hasn't been really the first weekend yet, right? So again, this is going to backfire, right? The mainstream liberal media is going to have a meltdown over this. They're going to get mad. They're going to get upset. But it's going to backfire. I'm telling you, it's going to backfire. So let's see how it performs. I think that the movie's going to get over 100 million. That's just my guess, which again will be a massive hit, right? And I can't wait to see the media continue to melt down over this movie being successful. I mean, it's almost like, if you make some movie with an original concept, right, with an original story, okay, something that people probably haven't heard before, okay, it's almost as if, people will go and watch it, okay? They will actually be interested in seeing the movie. Hollywood needs to take some notes. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.